Jill Wendy Dando was an English journalist, television presenter, and newsreader who spent most of her career working for the BBC. In 1997, she was named the corporation's Personality of the Year. On the morning of April 26, 1999, Jill was tragically killed outside her home in Fulham, southwest London. Her death led to one of the biggest murder investigations in British history since the hunt for the Yorkshire Ripper. Born on November 9, 1961, in Weston-super-Mare, Somerset, Jill was often compared to Princess Diana because of her charm and grace. She was raised by her parents, Winifred and Jack Dando, in a Baptist household, along with her older brother Nigel. The two shared a close bond and similar career goals. When she was 3, doctors discovered she had a heart problem and a blocked artery, but surgery corrected it. Jill attended Worrell Infant School, Greenwood Junior School, and Worrell Comprehensive School. Following in her father's and brother's footsteps, she studied journalism at Cardiff. Her first job was at the Weston Mercury, a local newspaper where her family had also worked. From there, she moved to BBC Radio Devon and later to regional television, where her talent quickly got her noticed. Her clear voice, professionalism, and warm personality helped her rise to national fame. She went on to present several major BBC programs, including Breakfast Time, Breakfast News, The 1 O'Clock News, The 6 O'Clock News, Holiday, Crimewatch, and Songs of Praise. In 1994, she moved to Fulham, London. By 1999, Jill was one of Britain's most loved presenters. She had just started a new season of Crimewatch with co-host Nick Ross, a show focused on solving real-life crimes. Jill was also engaged to Dr. Alan Farthing, a respected gynecologist, whom she had met in December 1997. They were planning to marry on September 25, 1999, but their happy future never came. On April 25, 1999, Jill hosted the first episode of Antiques Inspectors and was set to present the 6 o'clock news the following day. She was also scheduled to host the British Academy Television Awards with Michael Parkinson in May. On the morning of April 26, 1999, Jill woke up around 6:45 a.m. with Alan. After he left for work, she took some phone calls and then left her house at 10:05 a.m. in her blue convertible. She stopped to buy petrol, then drove to the Hammersmith shopping center before returning home. As she approached her front door in Gowan Avenue, Fulham, she was suddenly attacked. The killer pushed her down and shot her once in the head. The bullet entered above her left ear and exited through the right side, killing her instantly. A neighbor found her minutes later, lying in a pool of blood. Paramedics rushed her to Charing Cross Hospital, but she was declared dead. Jill's funeral took place on May 21st, 1999, and she was buried beside her mother, who had died of leukemia in 1986. The investigation that followed was massive. The Metropolitan Police launched Operation Oxborough, led by Detective Hamish Campbell. A 45-member team interviewed over 5,000 people, collected 2,500 witness statements, handled 80,000 phone calls, analyzed more than 2,000 possible suspects, and reviewed 195 surveillance tapes. Despite this, there was no clear evidence leading to the killer. Robbery was ruled out. Jill's jewelry and engagement ring were untouched. There were no signs of sexual assault. The murder weapon, a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, was never found. The bullet was unusual, 2mm shorter than standard ammunition, and possibly fired from a modified or homemade gun. Detectives explored many theories. Some believed she was targeted by someone affected by Crimewatch episodes, while others thought it could have been a professional hit connected to one of her investigations. Another theory suggested she might have been the victim of a random attack. Years passed with no solid answers. The case remained unsolved, frustrating both investigators and the public who had adored Jill. Despite her tragic death, Jill Dando's legacy as one of Britain's most respected and beloved journalists continues. Her charm, kindness, and professionalism left a mark that no act of violence could erase. Richard Hughes, a neighbor, heard Jill Dando give a short scream on the morning of her death. Looking out his window, he saw a man walking away, white, around 40, about 1.8 meters tall, with dark hair and a double chin, wearing a neat brown coat. Several others nearby described the same man, well-dressed and calmly speaking on a phone close to Jill's home. In the first few months, detectives focused on Jill's inner circle: her fiancé, past partners, brother, agent, and colleagues. After checking alibis and call records, all were cleared. Robbery was dismissed as a reason. Jill's estate of £600,000 went to her elderly father. The next group examined included about 490 acquaintances. One lead involved a fan who had been bothering her, mentioned by her brother Nigel, but it went nowhere. In 2000, attention turned to Barry George, a 39-year-old man living half a mile away. He had a record of attacks on women and had served prison time. He once posed as a policeman using fake identification and was found hiding near Kensington Palace with a knife and a note for Prince Charles. George was arrested in May 2000 after police found gunpowder residue in his coat pocket, matching the type used to kill Jill. Despite weak evidence, he was charged. He had Asperger's syndrome, attention deficit disorder, paranoia, and a low IQ of 75. His ex-wife accused him of violence, and he had once worked at the BBC. He kept newspapers about Jill's death, raising suspicion. In July 2001, George was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Many, however, doubted the verdict, saying police were under pressure to solve the case. After years of appeals, he was retried and acquitted in 2008 due to lack of proof after spending 8 years behind bars. The gun was never found, and no new suspect was charged. Later reports connected Jill's death to other disturbing theories. Some claimed she had information about powerful figures involved in child abuse, which she tried to raise with her superiors. Others suspected revenge from criminals exposed on Crimewatch. Another rumor linked her death to the bombing of Serbian media buildings during the Kosovo conflict. She had hosted a BBC appeal for Kosovo refugees shortly before her murder, which some believed angered Serbian extremists. In 2019, reports suggested that her killing might have been ordered by a Serbian figure as retaliation for NATO's attack. The bullet used shared marks with ones found in other European assassinations. A journalist in Belgrade was shot in a similar way just days before Jill's death, and 4 Serbian agents were later convicted for that crime. Jill's father, Jack, died in 2009 without ever learning the truth. On the 20th anniversary of her murder, the BBC released a documentary watched by millions, revisiting the mystery that still haunts Britain. More than 2 decades later, the question remains: who killed Jill Dando? If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true crime mysteries.